There was a moment when I realized something was off. It wasn't the cost of rent, it wasn't the paperwork, it wasn't the language barrier. It was the silence. Not the silence around me, but the silence between me and the people I used to talk to every single day. And that's the part of living abroad I didn't expect at all. Today, we're going to talk about something that almost every expat experiences but almost no one talks about. How moving to another country can slowly push you into isolation. Not because you stop caring about people, but because your entire inner world gets rewritten. And at the end, we'll talk about a practical way to reconnect without forcing anything. When you move abroad, your brain doesn't just record a change of location. It registers a disruption of identity. For years, your sense of self was built around repetition. The same streets, the same social feedback, the same roles, the same version of you reflected by the people who knew you. Your identity was stabilized by familiarity. When you leave that behind, something breaks, not emotionally but structurally. Your brain starts reallocating energy toward adaptation. Learning new cultural rules, reading new social cues, trying to predict behavior in an unfamiliar environment. That adaptation consumes cognitive bandwidth. And when your brain is overloaded with adaptation, it reduces everything that isn't essential, including communication, including outreach, including emotional openness. You don't pull away from people intentionally. Your brain does it automatically to protect resources. There's another mechanism called context collapse. Back home, conversations were easy because everyone shared the same world. You didn't need to explain anything. Your life was understood by default. But abroad, your daily life becomes invisible to the people back home. They don't see what you go through. They don't feel the stress, the routine, the confusion, the moments of growth. So when you talk to them, you're forced to summarize your entire reality. And summaries compress emotion. Depth becomes surface. Connection becomes effort. And slowly, effort becomes avoidance. Not because you don't care, but because explaining yourself every time is draining. You miss the version of connection where nothing had to be explained. And they miss the version of you that existed inside their world. Then comes identity acceleration. When you stay in your home country, you evolve slowly. When you move abroad, you evolve fast. You adapt daily. You make decisions without guidance. You navigate uncertainty constantly. You grow quickly. Sometimes too quickly for the people back home to keep up. They still talk to you as if you're the person who left. But you're not. You're updated. They're synced to an older version. This mismatch creates friction. Not enough to fight, but enough to dim conversation. You filter yourself. You shorten explanations. You hide complexity. And filtering yourself is the first step toward emotional isolation. Another factor is attachment. Humans regulate emotions through closeness. Not messages, not emojis. Closeness. The sound of a voice in the same room. Shared meals. Shared silence. Shared habits. Digital connection doesn't activate the same neural pathways, so your nervous system starts adapting to self-regulation. You learn to soothe yourself, to stabilize yourself, to emotionally handle things alone. It feels like independence, but it also quietly reduces your need to reach out. People interpret that as distance, but it's just self-regulation becoming your default. And then there's bandwidth. Not emotional bandwidth, cognitive. Your brain is constantly processing new language, new bureaucracy, new routines, new financial pressures, new social dynamics, new expectations. This mental load steals energy from communication. Your brain is prioritizing the environment you're physically in. It's not choosing people, it's choosing survival. This is why guilt creeps in. You feel bad for not calling, bad for missing things, bad for drifting. But it was never a moral failure. It was bandwidth. And bandwidth is finite. There's one more psychological truth that explains almost everything. When you move abroad, You start living two lives. The life you're building here, and the life that continues there. Your brain tries to hold both, but it can't hold them equally. So it prioritizes the one happening in real time. The other one, the life back home, becomes a kind of mental archive. Still meaningful, still loved, but less active. And when a life becomes less active, the relationships inside it lose sharpness. Not value. Sharpness. Like photographs that fade only because they're no longer exposed to light. That's why the disconnection feels confusing. Because you know the love is still there, yet the closeness feels thinner. You're not losing people. You're losing synchronization. Now, here's the part that flips everything. You didn't distance yourself from them. You distanced yourself from the version of you that existed in that environment. Your present identity doesn't overlap with your past context anymore. And that's not a failure. It's a transition. A necessary one. But isolation doesn't have to be permanent. There's a way out. And it's simpler than people think. The solution isn't to force constant calls, or fake enthusiasm, or pretend nothing changed. The solution is intentional connection, not frequent, not heavy, just intentional. Choose 2 or 3 people. Share one honest thing with them consistently. Not the highlights, not the travel photos, not the achievements. Share context. Share what's shaping you. Share what changed in the way you think. Because the only reason relationships fade is that context fades. And the only way to revive them is to rebuild context. Slowly, honestly, intentionally. Living abroad shakes your identity. It accelerates your growth. It reshapes your attachment system. It restructures your emotional priorities. But it also gives you the chance to rebuild relationships on a deeper, more present level. Not based on proximity, but on truth. You don't need to go back to who you were. You just need to bring someone with you into who you're becoming. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing and liking the video. It helps the channel grow. And tell me in the comments, has living abroad changed the way you connect with people?